Mark Carreth was born in London in 1958. His family moved to their farm in the Kenyan highlands when he was only young, and he grew up watching leopards and cheetahs and could see black and white colobus monkeys leap across the trees behind his house. It was here that Mark's passion for wildlife was stirred. Years later, he has become the talk of the art world. Having had no formal art training, through dedication, hard work and a sharp, intuitive eye, Mark is now an acclaimed wildlife sculpture artist. We met Mark in Copenhagen during the 2009 Climate Summit, where he was sculpting his next project, the Ice Bear.
By touching the bear, they're touching the Arctic and the whole of the climate change problem. And by touching that, they'll get it inside them and hopefully become part of the solution.
On a research trip to Antarctica, Mark was bitten by the Arctic bug.
Such extreme beauty, the flatness over there, flatness of the sea ice, where you can see the clouds just forming at the floe edge. And then over there, big, wonderful, sculptural, abstract forms of icebergs stuck in the ice.
He spoke with the Inuit guides who told him that the ice was changing.
They talk about this quality of the ice. The ice isn't as firm, as strong. They don't trust it as much as they used to trust it. They used to be able to set their calendars by when the ice would form, but they can't. They know the place is under pressure. So I just want to sculpt something that is going to really bring the problems of the Arctic to the world.
Mark wanted to combine the classic old-school traditionalism of bronze with the more fragile material of ice.
So I decided to make a skeleton and put it into a tank, put that tank into a freezer, the freezer actually being an enormous industrial food processing warehouse. So this ice bear was with broad beans, prawns, vegetable samosas, the lot. And you can imagine the block was the size of the base, but higher than the bear. So that's a 9-ton block of ice. That block of ice came here to Copenhagen. Out of that block of ice I carved a bear. It was a full bear, you couldn't see the skeleton inside it at all. The skeleton was just hidden, invisible. I had this ice bear.
As the public touches the ice, it changes the shape of the sculpture, which Mark metaphorically links to the impact of humans on climate change.
The quiet drip, 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 that's a cyclical warming of the planet. We are moving from a colder period to a warmer period. That's what that's talking about. But people touching the ice, that's a human impact. They're touching the Arctic. They're actually sculpting the bear. So this is a sculpture made by thousands of sculptors, not just me. It's made by everyone who touches it. She has just become a sculptress. That is fantastic. She's part of the Ice Bear project.
Mark's biggest challenge was working out how to connect the problems of the Arctic with the science of what is happening and communicate that visually so that it would have an emotional connection with the audience.
I wanted to get people to really sort of pick up on their various senses and be able to read what is happening up in the Arctic. The bronze coming through the ice. People have actually been saying, why is that gap there? It's melted away from the bronze. And, they begin to think actually it's conducting the heat. The science that is being spoken through it, in fact, is all clear as daylight when you stop and think about it. We've had people from Japan, China, you name it, every nation has been looking at this and they've all understood it. That is the magic of it. You don't need words, you just look at it and understand it. Art and science together will be an incredible force.
The logistics of this project were enormous. Mark received sponsorship support from WWF, who came on board as his partner, and they brought on financial sponsors Nokia and Panasonic.
Without that, we couldn't have managed. I couldn't have done it. So it becomes a huge partnership, but one needs support. You can't do it on your own. People come on board. I've got friends of mine who've just said, I'm part of it. I will do your logistics. I will do your PR. I will do this. I'll do that. And then suddenly you've got a complete roller coaster motion.
He spent loads of time researching his subject before he started sculpting.
You can learn your subjects through books, photographs. That is absolutely important, and I do that the whole time. But I like to get out into the environment where my subject, a polar bear in this case, or the whole Arctic, learning from absolute experience, your own experience. That is when one really starts to understand the subject. And it's then that you can produce it.
Once he has sculpted his projects, Mark leaves it to his audience to interpret a meaning.
It may be they go away thinking deeply about it, so long as they go away having felt something of the issue that the Ice Bear is trying to talk about.
His advice to young artists?
If you can communicate in art, be it in photography, painting, whatever art medium you want to use, if you can use that and really express yourself and express something that comes from the heart, from within you, if you can really talk to people with that, using your medium, it is just unutterably satisfying, particularly when people are reading this sculpture like reading an exciting novel. And the novel, or at least the story that you're telling, is one of such extreme importance. Get that together and just don't stop, go for it. Art is a I mean, to me it's just life, absolute life, I think.
Hello, Bear. You are now ready to go into the deep freeze. Oh, of course, it's going to be chilly in there. You're dead right, it's going to be cold. You're going to be in minus 25. Oh, God, look alive. Yeah, I will see you again on Trafalgar Square when you start to melt away. Oh, bye then. See ya. Goodbye.